Alright, Chapter 9, Plotting. You will learn in this chapter the difference between model space with the paper space with the grave and the new layout with the different methods with the grave and the control viewport. 9.1. What is the model space and what is paper space? The Autocad provides two spaces, one for creating your drawing called model space, the other plotting your drawing called paper space. There's only one model space in each drawing. In contrast, there are infinite numbers of paper spaces per file. Each one is called the layout. Each layout is linked to a page setup, which is similar to other computer software. The user specifies everything and related with the plotting it. Page setup, for example, the user specifies with the plotter, paper side with the paper, orientation, portrait, landscape. After you create the layout with a link to the page setup, you will insert the title block and the add viewport to represent the portion of the model space. Afterward, the use of the scale of the viewports. 9.1 Introduction to layouts. Layout is where you will plot your drawing. Each layout will be linked to a page setup object like a title block, text dimension. Finally, viewports, which will be covered separately in the coming discussion. Check for the roadmap illustrated below. Create layout, create page setup, specify the plotter, specify paper size, specify paper orientation, insert title block, insert viewports, specify size, scale, then unlock them. Each layout should have a name and the default you create with a new drawing using the Autocad drawing template. Two layouts will come to layout, one layout. Two of these preset layouts are empty. Anything so if you want to use them, undergo the following steps. Rename them the desired name. Create the page setup, link them to lay to it. You can simply link an existing page of the setup, insert the title block, insert viewport, scale them, and lock them. 9.3 Step for creating a new layout from the scratch. Method you will create with a new layout from scratch. You can use one of the following methods. For the right name of the existing layout, there's this plus sign. You click it, add a new layout, click the illustration below. Right-click any existing layout name in the tab of the lower left corner on the screen above the command window, and the shortcut menu will appear. Select the new layout option. New layout from the template. Delete the rename. Move copies. Select all layouts. Activate the previous layout. Move them. Activate model tab. Page setup. Manager. Plot. Drafting standard setup. Import layout sheet. Export layout sheet. The models to model and dock and status bar. After creation of new layout, do the following steps. New layout will be added with a temporary name. Rename with the right-clicking with the select with the rename option. Double-click with the temporary name, and the name will be editable. You can input with the new name. New layout from template. Delete with the rename. Remove the copy. Select all layout. And we're looking at rename. Link with the new layout with the page setup. To do that, right-click with the name of the layout with the page setup manager. Page setup manager and the right-click mouse button on the layout. The following dialog boxes will be shown. Show the page setup, manager, current layout, architectural page setup, current page setups, and then set current new, modify, import, selected page setup, detail, device, plotter size, word description, display, and creating a new, close, and help. At the top of the dialog box, you can see the name of the current layout. On the other hand, on the bottom of the selected page setup, the detail with a summary of all of the current page setups. Finally, you will see with the checkbox with the display with the creating of the new layout with the checkbox will force the dialog box to appear every time you will create a newly created layout. Autocad will default with the created page setup holding the same name of the layout, so with the modifying button to modify it. You'll see the following dialog box. And then show the page setup, architectural plan, page planner, paper size, plot area, plot scale, plot offset, preview, drawing orientation, plot options, shaded, viewport options, plot style table. Select the desired plotter. The plotter shall be connected to the configure and select the desired paper size. Specify what to plot. And always leave the layout with the other option. Model space printing. Input plot offset with the printing of the layout. Leave the values 0 with the input plot scale with the printing of the layout. Leave the viewports. This is the next topic. Each of the viewport will hold its own scale. Hence, you will see the layout with the plot scale 1 to 1. Specify that if you will scale with the line weights or not. And select the plot style table. Pin assignment. The topic we'll discuss at the end of the chapter of the shaded view option with 3D modeling. Autocad. Leave the plot option default values. Select with the drawing orientation, portrait, or landscape. Plotter and printer will print from top to bottom. Select checkbox if you want. Otherwise, click OK. The page setup will create available for all layouts from the current drawing file. You will be back in the first dialog box. Select with the page setup. Select the set current. Also, double-click the name of the page setup. New now current layout is linked to the page setup you selected. Modify the settings. Existing page setup. Then click modify to bring the save of the page setup of the existing. Click the import. 9.4 is steps to create a new layout using the template. The procedure will import the layout with the template, including the page setup of the other content, title block, viewports, text, etc. Just undergo the following steps. Right-click the existing layout. You will see the following menu. Select from template. The normal opening dialog file box pop up with the desired template file. So with the desired template file, click open. You'll see with the following dialog box. Insert layouts, names, OK and cancel. Click with one of the listed in layouts. Click OK. You'll see that the new imported layout resides in the drawing. 9.5 creating layouts. You the copying with the two methods for the create with the copy with the existing layouts. The first method is similar to the MSXL doing the following steps. So with the desired layout, hold control key on the keyboard, hold and drag with the mouse to the new position, newly copied layout. Rename the new layout. Another way to copy the layouts is desired layout. Right click them and shortcut menu will appear. Move the copy option. Or you can use the move and copy option. You'll select the dialog box, move the copy, select the layouts before layout, and create a copy and OK. List all current layouts display, select one of them, click on the checkbox, create a copy. The copy will be created with the rename and making the necessary changes. Use the same option. User can move the layout from its current position to the left or to the right. Alternately, you can move the layout without this command, clicking the layout name, holding it, and dragging it to the desired location. In order to rearrange the position of the layout, simply hold the name of the tab and click with the drag and by with the name. By now, you've accomplished the following steps: creating a new layout, creating a page setup, creating a page setup with the layout. Accordingly, when you select the new created layout, you will see there's something like the following: printable paper size, real paper size. The outer frame of the real paper size with the inside frame of the dash is in with the printer paper size, printable paper size with the paper size of the bind for the printer's margin. Based on the layouts, you will see exactly what will be printed, what will not. Because of any of the object outside of the dash line will not be printed, but provides the printing of the layouts of the what you see is what you get. You can reach some of the commands mentioned above. If you go to the layout tab, the tab will not visible unless you are on one of the layouts. Locate the layout panel. You'll see the following buttons. In the new layout or from template. In this panel, you can create a new layout from scratch or from a template. Second button will access the page setup dialog box, and it has a practice and 9.6 creating viewports. When visiting layout for the first time, use just after creation. You'll see that a single viewport appears in the center of the black paper space. Paper size. Viewport is a window containing the view of the model space. Initially scale the two sides of the window. Viewports inserted layouts can be titled, will be scaled, and can be printed. The user can add viewports to layouts using the different methods. Adding a single rectangular viewport, adding multiple rectangular viewports, adding single polygon viewport, converting an object to a viewport, clipping an existing viewport. Note the layout tab appears only where you're in layout. 9.6.1 adding a single rectangular viewport. The command will add a single rectangular viewports and layers. User should specify the two opposite corners, specify the area of the viewport. The issue of the command, go to layout tab, locate layout tab viewport panel, and then select rectangular button, which is V ports or viewports. Following prompt will be shown. Let's specify the corner of the viewport on off fit shaded lock object polygon restore layer 2 3 4 5 fit. Specify opposite corners. Specify the two opposite corners. Create the single rectangular viewport. This is what you will get to see. Adding multiple rectangular viewports. The command will add multiple rectangular viewports and will layer the user should specify two opposite corners. Specify the area of the viewports. Issue the command with the layout tab, the layout view tab, viewports and panel, then select name button. When you see the following dialog box, you will see the new viewports. Alright, so you went to layout tab, layout viewports, the name button. You've now opened the new viewport tab. Show the new viewports, the current names, standard viewports, 3 viewport spacing setup, change view type, visual style, and preview. Select the desired display list. By default, viewport spacing value 0. That means the viewport will be titled. If you want to be separated, input a value with greater than 0. Click OK. You'll see with the prompt putting first corner or fit or specify opposite. Or check the following illustration, and then you're adding polygon viewports. The command will add the polygon viewport consisting of both straight lines and arcs to the list. Let's start with the command layout and locate the layout views and panel. Select the polygon or V ports, and then we'll see the following points: start point, next point, arc length, and undo. Next arc, and close the length, undo. They look like a polygon command prompts. Check the picture below. Creating viewports, converting existing objects. The command will convert existing objects to single objects like a polyline or circle lines. Arcs are not allowed. Lines and arcs are not allowed. To a viewport. At the start of the command, go to the layout viewports, and then select from the object button. You'll see the following prompts. Select the object to clip viewport. Check for the illustration below. Now we've had circle. Creating viewports with clipping existing viewports command will clip the existing viewports, hence creating a new shape. To start with this command, the layout tab of the layout viewport panel, then select the clip button, or viewport VP/clip. You'll see the following prompt. The viewport to clip the clipping object for the polygon. Start with a new arc length and undo the next point. Arc and close the length and undo. First select the existing viewpoint, but then select the polygon drawn with the previously with the draw with the irregular shape of the using polygon, which is identical to the polygon viewport command discussed above. Check the illustration below. Dealing with viewports after creation. The two modes of the work with the viewports: the outside of the viewport, which means you will deal with any other object in your drawing. Select the viewport from its frame, erase and copy to move with the scale, sketch, rotate, etc. In the second mode, with the inside of the viewport, retrieving the double click of the inside of the viewport. This mode will allow you to zoom, pan, scale, and etc. object inside the viewport, and return to the first mode with a double click outside of the viewport. 9.7. The scaling and maximizing viewports. By default, with the insert viewport, the Autocad will zoom the whole drawing into the air with the specified with the viewport side. If the viewport is not to scale, the user should set a scale relative to the model scale space units to the following step, and double click inside of the desired viewport. You can select only viewports frame and look on the right side of the taskbar. You will see the viewport scale is shown below. And it shows 1 to 100. Select the adjust viewport to adjust scale. Click with the list of the containing all scales, something like this, or Control R. Select the desired scale of the viewport. If you don't find the desired scale, select the custom option. The following dialog box will be displayed. To add a new scale, click the add button. The following dialog box will be displayed. So the scale name, new appearing scale list 1 to 15. Scale property paper units 1 equals 15 drawing units. OK, cancel. Input desired scale, then click OK twice. After scaling process is finished, either scale will be perfect area of the viewport. Will be too big or too small. The solution for this problem is to change the size of the viewport by changing the scale. After the scale of the permissible the pan command, not the zoom command, because of the real room the scale you set. To avoid the command problem, you can live with the display of the viewport by selecting viewport, clicking the golden open lock and status bar. You'll have the inside viewport border over the view, and to be selected with the golden lock will change to blue lock. The viewports will be locked accordingly. Alright, maximize function will maximize the viewport to fit the side of the screen temporarily, which will give you the need space to edit the objects you wish without leaving the layout, going to mouse plus, going to status bar, clicking maximize viewport button as shown. Same button will restore the original size of the viewport, or the user can go to layout, viewport, panel, and the following two buttons, lock and unlock. Alright, 9.8, freezing layers in the viewport. Freezing function will freeze layer of the model space, all the viewports, and all the layouts of the following freeze layer current in view. You will have the following step. Double click with the desired viewport, go to Home tab, locate the layers panel, select the layer list, check the icon freeze or thaw current viewport for the desired. Check the illustration below. Also, the user with the ability to freeze and thaw layers all exist in all viewports except for the current viewport. To do with this layer property manager, select with the desired layout, right click, select viewport freeze layer, to then select the all viewport except for the current option shown below. Shows viewport freeze layer, all option viewport except the current, and all viewports. 9.9, layer override in viewports. And all viewports layer will be displayed in the same color, line type, line weight, and plus have the exchange of the setting of the viewport displayed with differently. If it is called the layer override, the following steps: double click inside of the desired viewport, issue the layer property manager under viewport color, viewport line type, viewport line weight, viewport plus style. Make the desired changes. These changes will take place in the current viewport. Checking the following illustration. And above the example of the A door has a color applied with the model space. All of the other viewports equal magenta, and overriding the colors equals blue to in current with the viewport. Also notice that the layer of the A door is shaded with a different color. And it goes into a practice. And then number 9.10, you got your plot command. This will be our final step of the command mission set with send whatever you see with the set of the layout specified plotter. The issues command with the go output layout, the locate of the plot panel, select the plot icon. And that's command line plot. You'll see the following dialog box. It's basically a printer generated setup. Dialog box identical to page up settings. Modifying any of the following, Autocad will separate the page up with the current layout to send the layer to plotter. Click OK, save the setting with the dialog box layout with the apply layout button. Apply the layout button. Click on the preview button to silently print with the drawing screen between the real printout. You can preview the drawing from the outside of the dialog box by going to Output tab, locating plot panel, and select the preview button. Alright, next show the preview button is in Preview in Command. Notes, Chapter Review Answers, Chapter 10 Projects.